Hey everyone, Andrew here from a Tale of Two Hygienists podcast. Yes, you are on the right feed, but no, this is not a normal show. I wanted to let you know right now that what you are about to hear is not suitable for work. It is likely also not appropriate for children. If you are sensitive to racy topics, go ahead and hit that delete button right now. You might not like this episode. But now that you've been warned, please welcome to a special RDH Rant Takeover episode with Heather, Anna, and Liz.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the RDH Rant Takeover of A Tale of Two Hygienists. With me, as always, my name is Liz, if you didn't know. With me, as always, are my two companions, my ride or dies. I have Anna.
Hi.
And I have Heather.
Whoop, whoop.
Hola. Today we are talking about do-it-yourself dentistry. This topic kind of came about because I was dissociating after work and scrolling on TikTok as one does. And there is a hygienist. She goes by Megan RDH. And I've tried to find her on, I don't think she's in Rant. I've tried to find her on Instagram to give her credit because I reposted a TikTok of hers on Instagram. But I think she's just on TikTok. Anyway, she had this series of story where she had a patient who came in, was not a patient of record. Bridge fell out. The patient wanted it glued back in. They were like, no, it has decay. We can't glue it back in. Patient became irate. Said, well, I'll do it myself. Left, of course, glued it back in, and then came back to that office and had like this huge raging infection.
No, really? I'm shocked.
I know. We're shocked. We're absolutely shocked. So that kind of made me think of some of the things that I've seen my patients over the years do, and just horror stories that I've heard about when patients take matters into their own hands.
I'm guilty of this, by the way.
You're guilty of that?
Yeah, and I'll tell my story. I am guilty of that.
Okay, tell it.
Oh, tell it now? Okay.
Tell it now.
So I have veneers. I have maxillary anterior veneers, and it was a Sunday. I was on my way to my daughter's first birthday party at the aquarium because she was my first child, and of course I had to go big. So I planned this huge party at the aquarium, and I bit into something, and my veneer's in my hand.
Oh, no.
So when I have aggressive preps of my veneers, so when I lose one and one comes out, I look hillbilly-ish. So I like immediately start crying, and I'm like, we need to stop at CVS, like right now. And I went and got crazy glue because the temp glue that they sell, like the dental temp glue, that don't work. It don't work.
No.
But anyway.
Yeah.
So I bought crazy glue, and I sat in my car, dried my tooth, and glued that right back in. And
Did it hurt or burn?
It burned a little, but I didn't care because I was like, I am not going to a party with my whole family and all my friends and her little friends and their moms with
that
a hillbilly tooth.
I feel like that would ruin like the whole party because then I would be so worried.
Oh, I was like so worried it was going to pop off. I totally was, but I didn't let it once I glued it in, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to be extremely careful. And then I went to work on the next day, which was a Monday, and told the doctor what I did. And he was like, what the hell? I'm like, what was I going to do? What was I going to do? It was an anterior tooth there. I'm sorry, you know, like,
no,
sometimes you got to do what you got to do, you know, that's it.
Yeah.
I would have done the exact same thing in that situation.
So did the tooth come off? I mean, did the veneer come off easily? Was it an easy fix?
It actually, I was able to, like, the crazy glue wasn't that secure. It was secure enough to get me through the day, but by the next day, I probably, it was easy to take out.
Could have flicked it off.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
How long had you had the veneers? Was something wrong that it popped off, or just?
I've had these like 25 years, so this was probably like 15 years into, or maybe like 12 years into having them.
See, and I feel like that is a very good lifetime for a veneer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To last 20 some years.
Yeah.
Even 12 at that point.
Yeah. I mean, no, I got them redone since then. The ones I have in now are probably like 5 years old, but.
Yeah, but still at 12 years, that's still pretty good, I feel like, for a veneer.
Mm-hmm.
Considering all the bar fights you get in, right?
Exactly,
Quit opening those beer bottles with your teeth. Oh, my God. I've seen so many videos about that, and my heart drops. Go ahead.
Me too.
Oh, yeah.
Or the ones with the nail clippers where they clip.
Stop it. I knew you were going to say that.
I can't.
Don't. My tooth hurts. I have the chills.
Oh,
don't even say it.
What is wrong with Gen Z? Why do you do these things? But go ahead.
I don't think anybody actually really did that.
No, it's on TikTok and shit. It was a trend amongst this generation, whatever their problem is.
I can't. My freaking teeth hurt now. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ugh. No, we can no longer speak. We have to end the podcast. Thank you for joining us.
Bye.
Yeah. And I got to just hold my ends. Bye. And I have to hold my teeth. Okay. So I have a family member who has a similar story. So he kept having an issue with a premolar. We kept taking x-rays. Couldn't figure it out. So we have a CBCT. So we did that and we found like halfway up the root, it was resorbing. We're like, holy cow, that's crazy. Well,
and that didn't show on an X-ray. That wouldn't show on the next.
No,
why am I talking
it didn't. It showed up on the CBCT.
Wow.
That's why I love that we have that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we said, well, it can't be saved, so you can just deal with it, or we could extract it and do an implant. He said, well, I'm getting ready to leave to go on a cruise, so can it wait till I get back? And we're like, well, yeah.
Have fun.
I mean, we don't have a magic...
When you're out at
we don't have a
sea
magic
and your
ball,
tooth explodes.
But it was, at that point, it was just kind of like hurting, like random, not all the time. And so they get to Miami, my aunt and uncle and a bunch of people, and the boat just left dock. And he bellies up to the bar, and that tooth, the premolar, you know how they just crack in half?
Yeah.
Yep. Mesally to distally, know. That happened to him.
Oh, God.
Like, of course. An hour in. And so my aunt calls, like, in a panic. And so they're, like, got their phones, and they're, like, FaceTiming me, and I'm trying to look. And I'm like, well, you have two options. Go to, the infirmary on the boat. I'm sure they, there's, like, a nurse's station, doctor's office on the boat. See if they can do anything. Or at your next port, see if you can find a dentist.
Oh, God, no, I would not. I'd rather just, no way.
Well, he was going somewhere where one of our ranters lives. I know, even though it's a small island, it's a big island, but I thought I could try to help you. I'm sure I have a ranter out there somewhere. And so the next thing I know, like the next day, I'm getting a phone call. He just went and got super glue somewhere on the ship. And his daughter, my cousin, who's like 10 years younger, is super glued the tooth back together.
Wow.
Like it was split in half, but still stuck like in the socket.
Yeah.
And she like kind of like cracked it open, straight down that.
Oh my God.
And I'm going, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Like, you don't put super glue in your mouth. It's poison. No, he did it. And
he lived.
It worked.
Did it hurt like hell?
I don't know. But I think they had to like do it a few times while they were on the cruise.
Y'all, I am weak.
I'm like, stop calling me every time you do this. I do not approve. Like,
yeah,
I told you what to do.
I don't want to lose my license over your nonsense.
First day back from the cruise, he's at the office getting it extracted.
Oh my gosh. No.
Yeah. So that's my only
Sometimes
story.
you got to do what you got to do,
family members, I tell you what, I have a family member, I'm not going to out this family member, but I have a family member who doesn't see the dentist unless there's an emergency. And the emergencies to me seem quite frequent, but whatever. So they had a tooth that was hurting them really, really badly. And so bad that sometimes this person had to like pull over to the side of the road when driving and like wait out the pain. And I'm just, dude, go to the dentist.
Why
would you not?
Anyway, it got so bad over a weekend or something that he went over to a friend's house and got really wasted, and they were going to go in the garage and just pull his tooth.
God, no. Don't do that. See, come on.
Okay.
Did they?
So I was not aware of any of this, these shenanigans, or I would have, put a stop to it. But they got in there, got all ready. I mean, absolutely nothing's going to be fucking sterile, right? And
Oh my God, I'm gonna gag.
but they were in so much pain that
Police
they
are
were
coming
ready
for
to
one of
do
you
this.
girls.
And so the friend took a pair of pliers and just started yanking, and
Who
this
has the
family
police?
member was just like,
It
it was so
it's me.
excruciating that they were
Coming
like,
to
no,
get you
no.
in
They're
there?
like, no, stop. So they never went through with it.
Oh God.
But,
My God.
I mean, it's so close. And why? Just,
I'll be honest with you. I will be honest with you. Tooth
Okay.
pain is so excruciating that I can
Yes.
see someone getting to that point where it's like, just pull the tooth. And if
Yeah.
you can't get in to see a dentist, like my husband one night wakes me up at like 3 a.m. He's like, I'm gonna like freak out. He's like, I don't know what to do. Kept me up all night. I went to my office at like 7 a.m., grabbed Novocaine just to numb him. I'm like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
but he was like, I'm ready to just go in the shed and pull this out because he was in excruciating pain. So I can see, I mean, I would never do it, but I can see like how that becomes,
Oh, totally. They become
yeah.
desperate.
yeah, like a desperation because, Lord, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't
I don't
I mean, I
condone
understand,
it. Yeah, I don't
but
condone
Lord.
it.
Can you imagine the infection?
No.
Like the dry socket, the fragments, just all the stuff that could have gone wrong.
Yeah,
Anyway,
no, not a good idea.
They ended up not going through with it, but the fact that they got so close that pliers were actually on the tooth and force was being, I'm just, it makes me weak kneed, y'all.
Yeah.
All right, continuing on. So my dad, speaking of family members, fixed a friend's partial because the friend had lost a tooth and the partial didn't fit anymore. And my dad just took pliers and rigged it up somehow to where the partial would stay in place. So,
Like the metal clasps or something?
yeah, the metal clasp.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yep, Dr.
Yeah,
Dad.
I have lots of patients that'll come in. They're like, well, I shouldn't say this, but it was rubbing, so I used my fingernail file. I'm like, whatever.
I've done
Basically what we
that.
would do
I've done
too.
that with my Invisalign trays. Sometimes they're like the edges
Yeah.
aren't as clear, so I'll take a file and just rub it down.
Okay,
When I
so what
had
about the
braces-
patients, though, who take nail files to their
Stop.
teeth?
Stop.
No, why?
Stop.
God, I'm about to just
Why?
totally nix this. No,
Ah.
I'm serious, though.
I know they
the-
do it. I had a patient that 8
Yeah.
and 9 like weren't completely even. Like to me, I was like, they're fine. I was like,
Yeah.
you're being very critical. They're fine. She wanted the doctor to file it down. He advised against it because, they're thin teeth. Like once you start filing down, you're compromising
sensitivity.
it.
And it can be sensitive.
This bitch went home and filed that shit down herself. With a motorized, the motorized nail
Oh,
files? She had one of those. And she went and filed that shit down herself.
I know somebody who did that. They wanted their canines.
Oh,
To be-
yeah, to flatter.
They
yeah.
wanted that to just. They didn't want their
Yes.
canines to be pointy,
Uh-huh.
so they filed their canines down.
Yes, I've had like teenagers come in. They're like, I want my teeth to be flat or all the. I'm like, no, they're not supposed to be like that.
No.
Yeah.
No, you don't want. I had like when I had braces a few years ago, regular like metal, and we were in Florida, and the bracket broke. You guys probably remember because I probably bitched about it every single day to you guys. I was going to find an orthodontist in Florida.
Oh, why? It's just a
To
bracket.
fix it.
Wait. No, just wait.
No, it was like all the way in the bottom. No, it was like poking me.
Oh,
It was
okay.
like the wire. It was like one in the lower back.
That I would clip the wire. I would just clip the wire.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
So I went to Walmart and finally found like in the crafting wire cutters.
Yes. That's what I would do.
I took those bitches back to our beach house and like snipped that because it
Yeah.
was driving me nuts. So I've done stuff like
Yeah.
that. But some of these, like a long time ago, a podcast, Lizz remembered. So it's not always just the patients.
Mhm.
Like some dentists, and we've all seen it, DIY
Mhm.
things.
Mhm.
Sometimes not so great. Sometimes it's like, oh, okay. But Liz
Everybody's so
remembered
creative.
a dentist.
I love
yeah,
her.
yeah. Asking for paper clips. It was like a cheap dentist.
like when he sent claims and paperclip, the paperwork, he asked for the insurance company to send the paper clips back.
Oh, Lord.
And then proceeded to use those paper clips to do endo procedures.
Shut up. That's crazy.
That's what somebody said.
That's just crazy.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I've never worked for a dentist that does that. Like, that would be like, bro. Like,
that would be my last day.
Yeah, like, bro, no.
Yeah. Most people don't know who MacGyver is, but I'm old enough. We should be like, MacGyver or MacGruber? Which dentist was it? Like,
yeah, no,
yes
I
or no?
Exactly.
Was it good or did it blow up in your face? But some of these were interesting. There were a lot of them that were like teeth that had been lost that people just kept putting back in, like the socket.
Wait, who told me the story about the? Oh, it was Ashley, our admin. The previous hygienist was. So the tooth was loose, and during the cleaning, it would come out. One of the lower anteriors would come out. She would clean it and then shove it back in the socket.
Yes, she would take it out. Yes, Ashley put that in our post.
Yes. I was saying, I'm like, honestly, if that happened while I'm cleaning your teeth, if your tooth falls out, we're billing out an extraction and we're calling it a day. Like,
I could not shove, like, I have nightmares about my teeth, like, floating out of the socket, and I have to, like, hold them down. But if that, like, no, I would get the heebie-jeebies trying to shove a tooth back down in the socket.
I mean, I've held a tooth in the socket and scaled upward. I have done that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But if it comes out while I'm scaling, we're billing an extraction and that's it. Like, we're done.
Yeah. You can't do that legally.
I know. I'm kidding. Don't audit us. We're just joking.
Yeah, just joking. This is for entertainment purposes only.
Exactly.
So the one that blew me away was Heather put... This one actually worked and stood the test of time. Use the crown of an extracted tooth as a pontic.
Shut up.
I know. Cut the root off. Remove any organic material. Use composite to bond it to the tooth on either side. No.
That's... Wait, So basically they take the crown of the tooth, take the root off, and then they bond it to the adjacent tooth to make a bridge.
Yeah. That's what Cheryl said. And it stood the test of time.
It did. Interesting. So maybe we're doing it wrong in dentistry. Maybe we're like overpriced, and maybe those things work. I don't know, but
we did have a meeting today at work, and a new pediatric dentist came and talked to us about trauma and pediatrics and what to do. And she was going through, and one of the things she said, like, say someone breaks a tooth off, you know, like an anterior tooth, like the incisal edge, half of it up. Like, people have taken that piece of tooth and bonded it back on.
Like in the office or at home?
In the office.
Oh, no, that's just ridiculous. No, just veneer that.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. Yeah. I was like, did it not turn colors? Or she's like, no, you can do that. I'm like,
I've never heard of that. Oh, okay. I remember do-it-yourself ortho. We had a patient who, not me, it was somebody else, but had a patient with a gap in between 8 and 9. So they would take a rubber band.
Yes.
And to push them together, the rubber bands, like, they would get lost in the gingiva.
Oh.
And they would just keep doing it. And then they ended up losing both.
Well, yeah. I had a patient who did that too. She had some spacing on her lower anterior, and she wanted to just close the spacing up. So she would go to bed every night and just from canine to canine, or no, like just the lower anterior, I think, would rubber band them together, and it messed stuff up. Yeah. Those teeth were like tilted.
Yeah.
Like mesially. You're putting that like weird pressure. Yeah. So I can only imagine all the crowns are going to fold in and the roots are going to flare out. And it would just be the ones that were that the pressure was on. So like 26 and 23, and the other two in the middle aren't really going to move. 24 and 25 aren't going to move at all. So she thought she was going to do something, but it did not.
That was such a 1980s kid thing, I feel like.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I never did that. Well, because I
didn't do it, but a lot of kids did.
I had braces for 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was such a bad patient. Heather's like, oh, I was freaking out because my bracket fell off. I had a little toolkit just from stuff I had assembled. I was a horrible patient. Like, I'm surprised they didn't dismiss me from the practice. I would take like a little flathead screwdriver and just like clink, pop off my bracket.
Oh my
if it was bothering me. If it was cutting my lip.
Yeah.
But how
I
old
love
were
that.
you?
You know what? Good for you. I love it.
How old were
13?
you? Okay,
13?
I had braces very young, but when I'm talking about, I was 40 when I had braces.
Oh, yeah.
So
no, you know better, but I was horrible.
I was like, no, these bitches are staying on my teeth until they're straight because I know I don't want them any longer.
Right, which is why I'm in ortho again, because I was a stupid teenager. But yeah, I used to take wire cutters and cut wires that were bothering me. I used to pop off brackets that were bothering me. I'd take off rubber band. I mean, I was horrible. I don't deserve to be in dentistry.
I had
That's
headgear. Did any of you guys have
Did
headgear?
you really?
Yes,
Oh my God, I did too.
The
Yeah,
one where
I
you
never had
hooked it
headgear.
into the back molars and then it wrapped around your fucking head like it was so
your
bad.
head. Yes. Oh yeah, I had that.
Did you
so
go to
pretty.
school?
I was so pretty.
It was like,
Was it
what's
just
the little girl's
nighttime or was it
name?
at school?
Thank God it was only at night. I would never wear that
Mine
in school.
was only at night.
Thank God.
But I wore mine all the time and got it done. But I was a nerd.
You're such a
Darla.
What is
like
it?
Darla for
A do-gooder? A
Finding
good
Nemo.
doer? Whatever?
A goody two-shoes.
Yes. No, I had really fucked up teeth. And I didn't give a shit. I just wanted them to be
Aw.
like, I just was so tired of being made fun of because my teeth were so awful that it was hard for me to even like talk, to breathe, to eat.
Aw.
And then on top of it, in elementary school, middle school, kids are assholes.
You know what
So I
I
was like,
hate?
fuck that.
Is Peyton my daughter, she has like her anterior teeth are all overlapped and one's sticking out. Like it's not cute. Like I feel bad. I would never tell her that, but I feel so bad because we're waiting for one premolar to come in to do ortho, and all of her friends are like ahead of eruption or at appropriate eruption stages and have already started the ortho process. And I'm thinking to myself, all these other moms are probably like, she's in dentistry. Why does her daughter have fucked up teeth? Like, because we can't start ortho yet. And I'm like,
Screw them bitches.
But what about expansion?
She doesn't need that. Yeah,
she doesn't?
No, they said no to expansion. She doesn't have a crossbite or anything like that. It's just she has an overbite, and just like crowding. I don't know, like just teeth are all over the place.
Isn't it crazy? Like here in Indiana and you in New York, already we have like two completely different approaches to how spider partials and now ortho. Like here, we send kids to ortho.
Oh, no, she's been to the orthodontist. No, she's been there.
Well, no, like expansion. Like
we don't do expansion.
Even if you don't have to.
No, unless it's like a crossbite or the upper jaw is.
No.
Her upper jaw is not narrow. It's not narrow. She doesn't have a vaulted palate. She doesn't need expansion. Her lower jaws maybe needs it, but that would be with ortho.
But expanding the top also does the lowers. Like, I don't know, it's just weird. Here, like almost every child gets expansion.
Oh no,
at a very young age.
No, that's
So
that's crazy.
There's a lot of it.
Isn't that
here.
Crazy?
Yeah, that's a little weird. Yeah, here,
I think it's weird that you don't.
No,
and even my brother up in
to textbook. If you go textbook, expansion is to expand the upper jaw because there's a crossbite, a posterior crossbite. Or we need room, or something.
Yeah, I know what expansion's for, but here that's a completely different approach.
That sounds like a money grab for me. Like that's not scientifically like.
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
I mean,
I'm gonna leave that discussion for the orthodontist because
I'm not an orthodontist, but just me
I
and
worked
like
in
my
ortho.
kids.
No, I worked in ortho, so
just seeing it
here, you know, like I see it, like I see the kids. Like,
her top
we
jaw
refer
does
them
not need
get
to
it.
be expanded. It doesn't need expansion. Like her top jaw is actually too wide.
How's her
for
bottom?
Her
How's her bottom?
needs to be pushed out a little bit, but we're waiting until things like come in a little bit more to
How
do
old
all
is
that.
she?
12. Yeah, and she's a little behind on eruptions, so.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying one or the other. I'm pointing out like how
Yeah.
different it is from Indiana to New York.
Yeah.
But well, getting us back on track.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
So maybe
Sorry.
I'm going to
Me and
do
Anna-
yourself dentistry with her, and I'm just going to start like.
Me and Anna having a moment. I know.
I had a patient who was from Eastern Europe. Okay. Do you guys, I know you guys have all seen this probably, how they do like bridges in Eastern Europe. Like it'll be like a 12-unit bridge or some shit.
Yeah.
You've seen those?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I've seen
talking
a
about?
lot of things out of foreign countries because
Yeah.
living in New
We
York,
had-
we have a lot of foreigners, so we see a lot.
We had
Yeah.
so many of those when I worked in perio. And then, you know, we're trying to save a tooth, so they don't lose their whole bridge.
Mhm.
That's like, you
Yeah.
know, longer than the Golden Gate. I mean, it's just
Yeah, been there.
ridiculous. So I had this patient, sweet, sweet man. He had so much recession and he would build up so bad because of the recession and, of course, home care, but how it just sticks to the recession and then like stain,
Yeah.
like that stain that's in perio. Ugh. Anyway, so he was using, he went overseas and I hadn't seen him or something like that for like a year. So he's trying to take matters into his own hands and he was using a paper clip to try to rub the stain off and then also to get the calculus off from his lower anterior teeth.
God, on the
The dentin, right?
Oh.
And when I saw him the next time, his teeth looked like matchsticks, like hourglasses.
Yes, I've seen that.
Yes, from where he was like wearing it away. And he was so proud of himself. And I was like, friend, like, look, your teeth aren't supposed to be shaped like that. And now they were so thin. And I left that office before I figure out what ended up happening. But I'm pretty sure that whole bridge had to come off. And it was just at that point, just full mouth, or at least mandibular extractions for
Aw, that
a
sucks.
denture.
Yeah.
But he was like so proud of himself. And I'm like, no.
Good job, buddy. Good job.
Oh, I know. What about this one? It's kind of like Ashley's. Kristen wrote, I had a patient with 8 and 9, severe perio. They kept falling out, so she pushed them back in. When the sockets got too loose, she had the idea looking at a candle to dip the
Shut
root.
up.
To dip the root in the melted wax to make them fit tighter. Did it work? I don't know. Didn't say.
Go
I'm
on
gonna
with your
guess
bad self,
no.
girlfriend.
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna guess
say
no.
All right.
But
so
who knows? I've seen crazier things.
Let's end with this one. Let's end with the do-it-yourself denture soft liner at home.
Oh,
Did you
they
guys
have
read that one?
I get advertisements for those on Facebook
No,
all
wait.
the time. Oh, wait, hold
Wait.
on.
Oh no,
not
this
for
is
this guy.
This is
Okay.
not where she's going. I
No.
know this.
This was people.
Oh, you're gonna make me
there
throw
were
up.
2 stories of this. People using a slab of bologna.
Wait, what?
Oh my god,
Wait.
I hate you.
Wait,
I hate
wait,
you.
what? Wait, for like Fixodent? Like to make their denture why just go buy Fixodent? Why? Why using bologna?
They were trying to reline, I don't know, with bologna.
She's gagging.
I mean, I loves me some bologna, but
I
gonna throw
up. I'm
Oh
telling
my
you,
God.
because nothing like from the neck up does not bother me until a patient handed me a perio maintenance. I know I've told this story. Oh, I'm so gaggy. I just got back from lunch, and she's my first patient, and she pulls out her partial, and it's just covered in cottage cheese and egg, and I don't even know what it was, but it was just nasty.
you see,
and
at
goes
that
to
point,
puppet.
you gotta show it to her and be like, bitch, what? Like, what the fuck is this? Like,
no. Anna, before she even dropped it in my hand, she looked at it and she goes, oh gosh, I'm so sorry. takes it back. I don't even know if I can say
No,
this.
she
'cause I'm
licked
gonna
it. Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. Why? Why do people do these things?
Then I had to run out of the room gagging, and thank God we still had like a freaking dark room for film. I had to go in there and throw up my lunch. And ever since then, I cannot handle that shit. Anytime someone gives me a denture, clean or dirty, I get queasy.
This is why I
Bologna
have an
denture.
assistant. She takes the denture. I don't need to look at it. Yeah.
Lick that thing like...
See, I would have said something. I would have been like, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I was green. Like
why?
new. I was like...
Why are you doing that?
Oh my God, it was nasty.
Anyway, so
All right,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
on that... Bologna denture reline, supposedly worst thing they ever smelled.
Stop it.
I'm going to try
Okay,
that. I'm
I'm
going to
gonna-
recommend that to my patients.
No. I'm just going to go on the record and say this is the worst episode ever.
No.
Because I have wanted to, like, barf or hold my teeth, like, several times. All my worst nightmares.
We didn't
So
talk
the
about
moral
poop,
of the
though.
story is, kids, leave it to the professionals.
Don't do
Even
this.
if you are...
Yeah.
Don't
Even
do
if
that
you are a
shit.
professional,
Yeah.
leave it to the professional or professionals.
Ugh.
All right, Heather, you
Gross.
want to see
All
us
right.
out? Oh, please let me do the honors.
Blah.
It is
No,
time. Yeah. It is time for us to finally, thank God, sign off. Time for you to floss off, especially if you're a DIYer. So, yeah, we're on Facebook, but you have to be a hygienist, sorry. But you can follow us on Instagram or TikTok. You don't have to be a hygienist. And we're pretty cool and fun, so you should follow us.
The coolest.
But that's it. So, peace, love, and brush your teeth.
Word. Bye.
Bye.